Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to the Aetherdrift Arena Open Day 1 event. This is a best-of-1 sealed event where we're trying to get 7 wins before 3 losses. If we can do that, we qualify for Day 2, which is where the fun starts. We get to play some best-of-3 drafts. If we make it through with 3 wins on the first draft, so 3-1 or better, then we get to Day 2 draft number 2, where there are cash prizes on the line all the way up to $2,000. So these are a really fun series of events. We always give them a few shots the first time around, see if we can't make it to Day 2, and if we get there, see if we can't cash out. We have cashed out a couple times before, and always fun to play some competitive limited on Arena, as that's the only format I really care about. Sealed and draft, particularly draft, but I will play sealed if sealed can get me to those Day 2 drafts like it can in an Arena Open. So that whole spiel out of the way, without further ado, let's give it another shot here. So we head back into the Aetherdrift Arena Open. All right, what do we got for rares? Here we have Debris Beetle, Achic, Lumbering World Dragon, Possession Engine, Oil Deep Gear Hulk, Mindspring Merfolk, and Wastewood Verge, all in Sultai. So green, blue, and black. Let's check out what our colorless and multicolored cards have. No fixing out of colorless. There is a green-black dual land. No blue-black duals either. Oof. The fixing is bad here, but we have a World Wagon that fixes mana and a Bike that fixes mana. Still going to be weak enough fixing that I think it'll be hard to justify a double blue, double black card like Oil Deep Gear Hulk in a 3-color deck. You're going to need some really good fixing for that, and I just don't think we're quite there off of one dual land and some green spells, but I like green-blue at the core since we have Aether Hive and Sky Serpent Seeker, or green-black at the core because we've got the double black Achic as a finisher there. It really depends where the synergy lies in the sealed pool, but man, is it good. Multiple blue-black uncommons, multiple green-black rares, multiple green-blue uncommons. We're so clearly Sultai that I don't think it would be crazy to not even look at the red or white, but what I'll do instead is look at them first so we can get out of the way real quick. White's pretty mediocre anyway. There's one removal spell and it's real bad. None of these creatures are super exciting. I like the Quick Welders and the Sloths, but there's like no big artifacts for the Quick Welders to make cheaper. The Disciple and Assailants are fine too, but these two creatures I think are quite mediocre. Light Wheel Enchantment sucks. Tune Up has no combos here. Yeah, white is just bad. What about red? Red's better than the white. It's got 3 Crash and Burn for pretty good removal. That's about it though. The creature base is pretty filler. And the rest of the non-creatures are pretty filler too. Yeah, I mean, it's mediocre. Triple Crash and Burn is exciting, but that's about it. Whereas Sultai has 5,000 million rares. Wow, the curve kind of sucks, though. There's going to be very little early game plays. Midnight Mangler helps, giving us an early blocker. Refueler gives us stuff to do with our mana, setting it up for turn 4, some stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to have some problems against more aggressive decks, potentially. There's an automaton for a cheap shoot, I messed it all up. There's an automaton for another cheap blocker, a 2-mana 4 toughness card, and then there's also a there we go, Scrap Compactor for like 3 mana removal, right? We play this turn 1, blow up their 2 mana 2/2 or 3 mana 2/3 or whatever on turn 3. So these are ways that could also protect us in the early game, but I think generally we're just going to be weak to aggro decks. But aggro decks are pretty hard to pull off in sealed in the first place, and this is a little bit of a slower format, so I don't think I mind that. So let's check out the blue, the black, and the green here. See what colors look the strongest for the core of the deck. I feel like it's almost definitely green, and we pair it with the black or the blue primarily and splash the other stuff in. So we've got a really powerful double blue rare with Possession Engine. Aether Siphon's also really strong and sealed. The games can go really long. If you manage to max speed with this, that's going to be a huge win condition for a long game, just milling your opponent out as you stare at each other in a board stall. And it's pretty good even before you hit max speed in a board stall, because then you're just drawing an extra card every turn, having plenty of action to win the game with. I like Ranger's Refueler a lot. In the green-blue color pair as well. We've got a couple exhaust creatures in our green to go with it to draw extra cards, and of course the Strategist, the Buccaneer, and the Merfolk to draw extra cards off of it, even in this color alone, and even just exhausting itself is good. Yeah, our blue's nice. I think the only card I would really cut for sure is Stall Out, but then probably like Howler's Heavy. It's a fine combat trick, but unless you also have cycling synergy, it's not like a super exciting combat trick. But yeah, outside of that, really good color, and we can run the Midnight Mangler to help have some early defenses there, early blockers. How's black looking as a color? I love that we have Double Bauble and Quag Feast as our early defenses, actually. Rather than playing a bunch of cheap creatures, we get to play a bunch of cheap removal. I also like having the Packed Altair to drain our opponent for some life and maybe find a way to raise our speed without having to attack. Just by playing a Terror and following it up with some Baubles, we'll be draining our opponent for life and raising our speed, which would be relevant, say we play cards like Aether Siphon that really need that max speed. So I do like that about the Packed Altair. However, I don't love the top end. I don't like Archfiend much. I don't like Gravestalker much without a lot of good self-mill, and there's just one self-mill spell with the Quag Feast here. That does also make the 8-chick a little weaker without a bunch of self-mill, but it's still an incredibly good draw in the late game, so it's still very much worth considering towards Golgari at the core of this deck. Awkwardly enough, all of our fixing, I mean literally all of our fixing in this mana pool is in green, and I think that's what makes us really have to play green as one of the two core colors and splash in a third instead of the other way around. However, despite all of our fixing being in green, it would be easier in terms of hitting all of our bombs to play blue-black at the core and splash the green, right? Because our Debris Beetle and our 8-chick, our green rares here require a single green mana, whereas our blue rares are double blue Gearhulk, double blue Possession Engine, and our black rares are double black Gearhulk and double black 8-chick. So I could see the argument for blue-black splash green. The issue is then we're running 0 mana fixing, because you can't really splash in the mana fixing cards, right? Because if you're playing something that helps you get a mana of any color, but you can't cast it until you already have the least prevalent color in your deck, then it's going to be redundant and you're not going to have it until you've already got your mana set up. And it's just really not particularly helpful. So kind of think I have to play green-blue at the core rather than blue-black, despite this making it a much easier to cast Possession Engine and Gearhulk. I think we still run that green at the core. And the quality is still there with the cards. We have the Bike and the World Wagon being exceptional. The Scurryfoot, Venom Sacklagak to get us some early creatures. Run over for early removal with our other creatures. Yeah. So, green-blue at the core. What do we pair it with? I liked our blue better than our black, I think, for pairing the green with, especially because that gives us the Ether Hives at 3 mana and another good exhaust card with the Sky Serpent Seeker there at 2 mana, while being really good at blocking, you know, Flying Death Toucher there. So I think it's green-blue splash the black mostly. Cut that vehicle, cut Haunt the Network, cut Maximum Overdrive, and I'll definitely play Dune Beetle though, or Debris Beetle. So let's see. Yeah, cut Indomitable, cut Terror, cut Chalvaneer, cut Pilots, Gravestalker, Archfiend, get out of here. 11 more cuts to go. I'm going to go ahead and make this not ghost cards anymore. Have them all filled in. Lots of 4-drops to cut, I think, like Howler's Heavy. I don't like the Jaguars too much either. Those are potential cuts. I think Ooze Patrol is actually our worst 4-drop in the deck, but Gearhulk is close because the mana's real bad for it. Real awkward for it. Definitely cut some combat tricky non-creature cards. Stall out for dang sure gets cut as well. Intimidation Tactics for dang sure. Siphon Fuel, honestly, is probably a better splash than Grimbauble is, because, again, the splash color, we're not going to have that mana till quite late. Play it at 5 instead of just the Bauble on 1. We're not going to have the Bauble mana in the early turns often. Also means the Siphon Fuel probably better than the Quag Feast too. And I still have to cut a lot of cards here, so again, towards the green-blue color pair being a lot more consistent mana, that feels good. Yeah, let's cut all these non-creatures, 5 more cards to cut. At 15 creatures right now. Makes me not want to cut a ton of them, but definitely heavy still. I mean, this deck can go pretty low on creatures. And I just don't love Jaguars and Ooze Patrols. A-Check is worse when we cut all these creatures, but it counts our artifacts in graveyard as well. And we have a lot of those. World Wagon, Bike, Aether Hive, Midnight Mangler, Refueler, Debris Beetle, Possession Engine. Yeah, no. I'm going to go lower count and still have that A-Chick. That seems fine. This could even be an 18 land deck, honestly, just to up the amount of sources of each color that we have in here. I definitely disagree with the auto-suggester right now. 5 black sources? I mean, I have 2 double black cards, because again, the rares are all double pips of their colors. I wouldn't be surprised if we're supposed to cut Gear Hulk, but A-Chick still, I think, has definitely got to stay. How much exhaust did I realistically end up with for the Aether Hives? We have Scurryfoot, Merfolk, Seeker, Buccaneer, Strategist, Hazard. Yeah, no, that's fine. Maybe not like super good, but fine. It might be better to cut one of those than the Gear Hulk. And this deck is just like pray for good mana. And if we get there, we really get there. Seems like a fine deck plan for Sealed, honestly. I'm cool to gamble it up here. Day 1 of an arena open like this. Yeah, let's just adjust the mana a little bit. Make sure there's tons of green because of World Wagon and Villaheart Bike. I'm going to cut a black for a green here. We're at 7 green, 7 blue, 4 black. 13, 11, 4. That looks good to me. The double blacks are going to be difficult, but they're going to be worth it, I think. The creature count is a lot better than it looks. It looks like 11, but we have 11 plus Mangler. That's always a creature. Refueler, that's pretty easily a creature. That's 13 creatures now. The Aether Hive spits out creatures. The Possession Engine is always a creature because we steal like a 3-power creature and crew it up with that creature till this thing dies. Yeah, the creature count's going to be so fine here. Yeah, let's just get in there. Just all in on janky mana base as you do in Sealed. The cards are just so strong. I think it's super worth it. Let's hop into the gameplay and see how this thing does. All right, here we are for game 1 with 3 blue sources and none of the other colors. I think it's still a keep with Refueler Interference. Those cards play really well together. And there we go. That's a green-black source. If I hit a Swamp or a Forest, which I certainly will later in the game, you count swamps and forests as draws that will get me either of the other color. That's just awesome. Okay, here's Refueler. They got their own interference here, turn 2. That would be a bummer, but it looks like they don't. Sky Crash? Sure. 1-for-1 trade the removal spell to our 2-drop. Alright, this is a solid spot for the bike here. I won't be able to play around the counter unless I pay 4 until I have 7 mana, so just jam this thing out. I do not love these draws. I have 0 threats in my hand, so we're just going to stare at our opponent until we draw into anything, but we have the mana to cast any of the bomb rares in our entire Sealed pool, so I'm pretty happy right now. Don't get to hold up Interference or Siphon Fuel if I cast Hazard. If I just wait 1 turn, I get to hold it up. And I'm under no pressure right now, so I think I'm just going to hold these. Also plays around the counterspell of their own if they have it. I'm going to counter that instead of Siphon Fuel so that they get 0 discards out of it. If I Siphon Fueled, they would get 1 discard. And they'd get to dig a little bit through some of their potential flood. Got the mana to activate Hazard of the Dunes next turn, which is nasty, so they're just going to flood it, make sure that doesn't happen. And there's a Guidelight Optimizer Super Filler, just a 2-1 here. We're not going to do anything about that, especially drawing the Strategist. I'm not going to trade the bike into that. The bike is my second black source, which is certainly valuable. I'll have to make a mental note of that. Ooh, Galvanic Blast off the bonus sheet? That's pretty sick. That's also hilarious artwork. I love that shark. Alright, well, tragedy strikes. And our 4/4 Flying Vigilance gets killed by a 1-mana removal spell because we didn't get to dump all our other mana into it. Possession Engine is not worth playing against a 2/1, so we're just going to hold on to that. Here's the Raceway. They start their engines here. They're just going to work their speed up so they can start discarding a card, drawing a card every turn. I've got the Possession Engine to kill their next card. I will just keep them off the speed here. Because in a long, grindy game, that Raceway is going to be very relevant. Well, any creature we draw is going to be huge damage now. They're down to 13. Okay. Pass turn. Gilded Goda. So run over for that. Yeah, I would like to Possession Engine something with 3 power ideally, so that I can actually crew the engine. Although, I mean, it could have been relevant to still just steal that and start crewing Beetle with it. Yeah, no, I have crew 2 cards. I should just steal literally anything with at least 2 power at this point. I think that was the wrong play. Okay, Cycle Artillerist, look for the next card. And engines are up to 2. Another land, pass. Monument to Endurance, that's horrifying because it's the kind of card I can't interact with. Alright, Gearhulk is a sicko mode draw. I'm going to see what's going on in our opponent's hand. I could discard the island to draw a card here, target ourselves, but I want to really make sure their hand is bad. I may choose a card from it, so I can choose not to do this to not trigger Monument if their hand sucks anyway. Just a Lightning Strike? Decline. You can keep it. I mean, if I make them discard a card, draw a card, I'm just letting them Lightning Strike my face and draw a card, I think. Oh no, it's just the lose 3. But yeah, it's lose 3 and then this lets them draw the card, yeah. So yeah, that's not worth it. Okay. So, I mean, we play around the Lightning Strike and make sure that can only go to face. I'm at 26, so Lightning Strike to face really doesn't matter. So yeah, no, if I let them discard that, that would actually be a draw 2 discard one, right? Draw off of Monument, draw off of Gearhulk's ability. That'd be so bad to activate that right there. So they do Lightning Strike the face to raise their speed here. Go up to 3 speed. They are at 7 life. If I just play a creature to crew, they're not on board. And they're dead. Okay, that will do it. Really, really awkward draws from our opponent there. Just ran out of gas super early, and we're 1-0 heading into game 2. All right, here we are on the play for game number 2. Obviously, the green draws would be really bad, but every double blue, double black rare in the deck is castable. Well, not the A-chick, that needs a green too. But yeah, good opener here. Midnight Mangler to slow things down. Thopterist also slows things down. Will definitely last long enough to cast Possession Engine and get a lot of value off that. We do draw a green spell. It's a Sky Serpent Seeker to just hang out until we find a forest. But that's a really solid play even later in this deck. World Wagon as well. This is starting to be a little bit of a bummer. World Wagon would be exceptional this turn because ramping up would be massive right now. Ramping and mana fixing. Yeah, World Wagon would be so good right now. It's crazy. Okay. 0 lands drawn in our first 3 draw steps is really awkward, but I'm, again, only 1 land away from the world being my oyster, a single forest, and we're so happy, but any land gets us Siphon Fuel and Possession Engine now. There's Wickerfolk Indomitable. Just doesn't do anything crazy. So they pass turn, we find Sabotage Strategist. It may not be a land, but at least it's a castable spell. But we're still really in the market for some green. Or again, just any land. And we still have a lot of power off of that. Thunderhead Gunner. Ooh, Possession Engine on that would be really good. Being able to activate that every time on our board. So come on, just a land, baby. Yeah. Oh, it's the green source too. That is particularly gross here. So there's currently nothing I want to discard then, if I know I have the green mana. So I imagine we're supposed to play World Wagon, and that'll lead to us being able to double spell a lot more likely next turn, because it guarantees the land right now. If I had just 1 more land on board, I'd probably Seeker first and then Exhaust for the 2 lands. But this works well as well. Okay, that is reach, so we just pass. The fact that they didn't discard a card to Thunderhead Gunner immediately is a big part of what made me feel like this play is super fine, because they're not getting any value from discarding cards to Thunderhead Gunner yet anyway. So they're going to blow up World Wagon with Blockbuster. Oh, it can sack itself. Card's actually better than I thought. The fact that it can sack itself is very relevant for sure. Okay. That's fine. World Wagon still gets us the 2-for-1. It got us a land that will be relevant, and it killed a Blockbuster. So that's a fine trade. And now the Blockbuster can't kill Possession Engine in the future, which is the most relevant part of that. So now I can cast the Serpents and the Possession Engine, which looks lovely. I'm not ditching anything to Gunner just yet, but it is the most annoying blocker on their board by far, and we get to start getting damage in. Ka-ching. And here's the Seeker. There is a board wipe in this format, but it's a Boros board wipe. I don't think I can play around a random white board wipe from the Jund deck here. But this format has some fixing. This is sealed. It is possible they're going to randomly do that. Back on track, the Blockbuster is a really good combo. They get to sack the token to blow up Possession Engine, get back the Gunner here. It's a pretty big bummer. I'll have to Siphon Fuel that then. I mean, I guess I still get to attack with Sky Serpent Seeker no matter what, but I need to be able to attack with beefier creatures than a 2/2 right now. And I've got the mana to Siphon Fuel and Lagak here. This is fine. Cool. Keep getting that chip damage in. They're down to 12 now. Honestly, with the ability to exhaust these and get more damage in, the clock's pretty quick. I think we kill them in 2 more turns in the sky, because I can make Strategist 2 more power. And then, yeah, 2 more swings will do it. And I love this deck, because we just have perfect mana now, to where it's like, yeah, even if they break through this, we know we've got like 3 more rares in here that are terrifying we could draw into at any point. So even if they break through the Flyers, as long as we're in a stable board stall, we've got great draws. There's the Quag Feast for the Strategist. 2 cards in grave. Number of cards in your graveyard. Okay, so it is going to kill it, period. All right. Oh, their top card, though, was Curse Cloth Wrappings. Incredible card in a board stall. Really wins the game over a long course, a long game of Magic, so... Really happy that that's out of here, at least for now. There are cards that will return it from graveyard to hand, so we gotta hope to dodge those. Ooh. Good card is good. I'm playing against a black deck. They can have discard in there. I think I do play around that by just running this on the board immediately, rather than trying to get more creatures off of it. The creatures are just 1/1s, but they're still big enough to block well. Trading a 3/2 into any of these is fine. Trading the Lagak into any's fine as well. Yeah, if anything trades, this is even bigger. If nothing trades, we get extra damage in, which is definitely relevant with an opponent at 12. So I think this is a great spot to attack all. I'll have infinite blockers up regardless. They're not in a color that can counter the 8-trick and stop us from at least getting the insects. Alright, this looks fine. Now 5 insects. Let's go. Coalstow Gearhulk's scary. That gets a 1 huge attack in this turn. But I'm at 22, so I mean... Sure. Yeah, Thoptrist is their best bet, because then they actually do get to permanently keep a blocker off of that card. We just don't block, right? Yeah, 22 life. And they don't even have their engines started. If they had their engines started, maybe it'd be like worth a chump, but just don't think so. All right, I'm not even doing the math here. This is so ridiculous. We do crew, right? Also, that's going to block there. If I crew that, the 3/3 goes 3/3. If I attack all, block a 1/1, block a 1/1. It's like 6 damage. mean, this gets bigger every time an insect dies. I guess I could crew with the H-Chick here so I don't attack with that. 19 to survive the crackback. They have 9, 13 damage because if I counter something during their turn, that shoots me for 4. I really don't think I'm holding anything up right now. But is it really that relevant to send Mangler in? Because then the 5/4 blocks a Mangler instead of a 1/1. Like, that's just not relevant. It gets 1 more damage in. I'm not going to do it. Ooh. Oh, right. Never mind. My brain farted for a second there. I was like, ooh, they're going to kill a 1/1 insect instead of the 1/1 flyer? No, I'm getting my things mixed up here. I'm going to block those and the flyer. Well, H-Chick on board means attack with 3 insects. Whether they block them or don't block them, they're 1 damage apiece. So it will take a lot to survive here. Wow, alright, their deck's very similar to ours. Just gonna interference and take 4 instead of a million bajillion. I do not think a million bajillion would be lethal here, but 4 is definitely not. And there's the concession from our opponents. We are 2-0, heading into game number 3. Just some really solid matchups for us. I think our biggest fear, again, are the just aggressive curve outs from our opponents. If our opponent's on the play and they go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, we got problems, but slower games against other multicolored decks probably have the bomb power to get there, and it's worked for us so far at 2-0, heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3. It's a really powerful hand if we hit the right colors, but there's no green or black, and I need double black for H-Chick. I need green and black for Debris Beetle. I have the double blue for Ether Siphons, so Midnight Mangler and then sit on an Ether Siphon and draw extra cards is a plan. And I'm going to gamble. If it's another slower matchup, Ether Siphon's going to be goated here. It's going to be fantastic. And a single green source, and we have a Midnight Mangler to run over their first scary threat. And no matter what source we find, we can block all the 2/2s they play all day. 2/2s and 2/3s. Keep those off our face. All right, definite gamble on this one. But any land, and I think we get going with the Siphon to find more mana. First draw's a green spell, pretty bad. But here's the Midnight Mangler. We don't get punished for the keep until missing a land drop next turn. Venomous Saklagak. Uh-oh, mulligan into the 1/2/3 drop curve out, but there we go. Land right on time. Wastewood Verge it is. That is also, very importantly, a green and black land if I hit a forest or swamp. Currently just green, but that's fine. That can play a Scurryfoot or a Runover or an Ether Siphon here. I do feel like we're in the position to just hold up Runover. I don't want to tap out for it while they still have mana untapped, because if they run over in response to my Runover, I get 2 for 1. So I would rather try to put them in a spot where they do theirs to mine. Okay. If they just go to the end step, I think I run over here, because I'm stuck enough on mana. I shouldn't just sit here holding. I think if they had run over, they probably would have been doing some form of attacks at least by now. But they could have bounce off on Mangler, and that'd also be bad. And they might not have wanted to cast that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's run over Scurryfoot so they can't go wide, and then Mangler can still trade for Lagak. Yeah. Okay, that's surprising. It is not good for me, but it wouldn't have been way better to just pass there, because they still just run over my thing. I guess we could have just stared at each other the whole game long and hoped that they run over in the end step. Velo Heartbike's a great draw here. This is a really good hand now for the H-Chick, because any forest or swamp, not just the swamps, will get us to Achick. And I can Debris Beetle right now, although I should probably just Scurry Foot for multiple blockers. And of course the Aether Siphon for the long game, if I can live long enough, so we do everything we can to survive long here. Alright, they're just going to Scurry Foot, and I'm just going to Scurry Foot. Fair. Yep. Just Scurry Foot. I need the blockers. If we draw another black source, we can even crew the bike and trade that off and have another card engraved for Achick. Saddle. And just take 2. Better than trading bike off when I do not have another black source. And way better than double blocking and losing both of these creatures. Nimblethopterist, sure. Not great, but not horrible yet. Still at 16 life. Strategist is actually quite nice on this board. I think I have to do that over an Aether Siphon. Or a Debris Beetle. Yeah, that's very good on this board. That really forces removal from opponent, and any removal is good. It puts more cards in my grave for the Achick. Yeah. This looks solid. Roadside Blowout, kill the token, draw a card. That is a blowout. So very good 2-for-1 for our opponent. Oh yeah, they killed our 3/3. Yeah, we don't have a good double block. I was gonna say, because of Strategist ability, we've got like a really good double block here anyway. Double block a 1/4 Death Touch. Okay, we're taking 3 and killing a Thopterist here, which is a-okay. Go to 13. Draconautics Engineer is not a-okay. 4/4 Flying Haste next turn. I guess they need another red source to play it and get the haste. Okay. Yeah, a life-linking blocker is kind of huge here. I was going to just Debris Beetle for the life drain, but this works too. Let's see what they've got. Oh my god. Defend the Rider Ketradon? And if I get rid of Defend the Rider, they draw the land towards Ketradon, or they're more likely to. That's super, super bad. I have to try to slow them down here, and I think Defend the Rider's the best way, so that I can actually get a trade on this board. Ooh. I actually do have an attack here. Double checking the board. Yeah, no reason not to. Yeah, I can deal with like a Summoning Sick Ketradon more than I want to deal with a really unfavorable trade. This could just be like make the flyer pass. That looks like the play. Molt Tender. Okay. Just no attacks on board. I mean, they could send Lagak in, I guess. Sky Serpent Seeker. It is cool to be hitting straight gas, but lands are valuable to me too. Seeker plus Siphon feels a little better than Debris Beetle, when I'll have the same number of blockers up if I just slam down Debris Beetle. Yeah, let's make more blockers and get the initial investment of Siphon out of the way. Okay, here comes Ketradon. If they just go Ketradon pass, I'm real happy. But I think I'm getting a 4/4 flyer to my face here. As much as I'd like to exhaust Seeker to guarantee the 8-chick mana, I don't know if I have time to do that at 13 life. I'd have to take 4 a turn for a couple turns. Well, I mean, I guess I'd take 4 here, and then I'd be at 9, and then I'd exhaust it next turn, but that would take pretty much all my mana next turn against this wide of a board. I think I have to trade Seeker off if they attack with the dragon. If I miss my land drop again, I can activate Siphon to draw another card. Hope to find it off that. Jeez, yeah. This is sealed. I thought this deck was insanely bomby. I say this every time I have a super bomby deck. I'm like, I think this deck is super bomby. And then I'll just run against another deck and be like, I guess this deck is the normal number of bombs. Because Possession Engine and Draconautics Engineer are so strong. With these 2 rares, I think, probably stronger than our 3 combined in terms of power level. By a tiny, tiny bit. Because I think the Gearhulk's a little medium and the Debris Beetle's quite bad here. 8-chick makes up a lot, though. I'm not very happy right now. I am very quickly running out of ways to win with how wide their board is. And like, even if I go full 8-chick, if I top deck the land and go full 8-chick, like they still have flying damage. I guess just with a Thopter at that point. But I mean, I'm only getting 3 insects, really, which is rough. Yeah, it is what it is. I think this is the best I got. Molt Tender means they have the red up for the engineer, so I can't block that. It is a 2/3. So I can't put a 2/2 in front of a 2/3, obviously. Yeah. Fang Guardian. It's really awkward right now with the mana I have. I guess it's better than Debris Beetle, right? It's 2 blockers instead of 1. I mean, I gain a little life off Debris Beetle, but I block 1 creature that turn. Okay. I don't think that I can gamble on the top card of my deck being a land here. I would like to draw a card off Siphon and play Fang Guardian, but the only way to do that is if the top card of my deck is a land. I can't take that risk. I mean, I guess what happens if I just block 2 creatures this turn? 2 blockers. Block the 2 biggest creatures. That's Possession Engine and Engineer. I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, it doesn't matter. I'm dead on board. Jesus Christ. Oh, no. Strategist is making everything 1 less power. So I'm definitely not dead on board then, if everything's 1 less power. Oh, man. Yeah, and the biggest reason to activate Aether Siphon would be because it gets me closer to a land for 8-chick, but if I activate it and don't hit the land immediately, I die immediately. So at that point, what's the point? Right? If the best case scenario is that there's a land on top, in which case it plays the same whether I activate it or don't activate it. Because if there's a land on top, I Fang Guardian, draw the land, 8-chick, I'm good. If there's not a land on top, by activating Siphon and not hitting it, I just die right now instead. Yeah. Just pass. Ketradon. Crew Engine with Gearhulk, slam everybody in, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, haste off the Engineer with the Molt Tender. I forgot about that. That's so bad. I have to chump then. Yeah, that's gross. So I don't even get like a good block here. I just get a chump. I mean, I get one good block and a chump. Well, no, because engine's also 4 power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can take 9 damage here. So I could take 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have to block those too. That sucks. If I block anywhere else, if one of the two gets in, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I guess I could go to 1 and block just one of the two. But not that I'd have to block Ketrodon specifically. I need to block Possession Engine. Okay. Oh, Bike has to die to kill Possession Engine. That is not good. That is not good at all. But I get my life blinker back. I think this is what I have to do. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no. If I want to kill Possession Engine, I have to block both. God dang, this is rough. Oh boy. Debris Beetle have a 6/6 blocker up. 7 life. 6/6 blocker blocks the 6/6. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's more than 7 life as well because the life drain. Yeah. I mean, I think I die if they kill Gear Hulk. If they have a removal spell to kill Gear Hulk before I block with it, I die. But also, like, if I attack with it here, and then they have a removal spell to kill Strategist, I die. So, like, I die to removal whichever way I play it. This, like, attacking with this, it doesn't even make me, like, safer to Lightning Strike and stuff. Because if they have Lightning Strike, they Lightning Strike Strategist and I die. I think I don't attack with Gear Hulk. Okay, any green or black source means A-Chick next turn. Thunderhead Gun is really good here. So they don't lethal me, obviously. But now they know every draw is relevant, because every land turns into the next card in deck instead. Send in Venom Sacklagak. Yeah, that's a good one here. Kill something. I think I put Gear Hulk in front of that. Another card engraved for A-Chick. Should I hit the land? Do I have to stop the 1 damage that badly? Like, if I immediately hit the A-Chick mana, it's better to go Gear Hulk on the Gak. If I don't, though, and I take this trade, I'm at 10 with 1 blocker up. And I just definitely die next turn. If I don't take this trade, I'm at 5. 2 blockers up. Block, block. Go to 9. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm very alive if I don't take this trade and they don't hit, like, the removal here. I think I just don't take this trade. And I could do Debris Beetle, but then I don't have the 6/6 for the Ketrodon. I did hit the land, so that Gear Hulk trade would have been real. Okay, they have 5 million reach power up on blocks, so let's get 1 million insects and start drawing a card every turn. Really hoping to stabilize off the Ether Siphon now. If we can hit max speed, super, super good. Because then, as long as we're stable, we win. Right, if we just remain stable, I don't have to attack them ever again. Ether Siphon just mills them out. Over time. So I can get max speed by just attacking with a single 1/1 insect here. Man. Okay, I don't think I'm dead this turn. They have no flying blockers now. And I'm not reducing any power over there. Just the flyer. Go to 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blockers. Got 7 creatures, but I really think I want to mill them off the siphon when I do this draw for turn. So desperate for this draw to be a creature removal, though. What mana do I need to hold up? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I need double blue for Possession Engine. Can I hold up perfect mana here? I don't think I can hold up perfect mana. Oh yeah, I can. This is double blue, double green, or double black. Yes, I can hold up perfect mana for, I think, literally any draw on the deck. Yeah, okay. If I activate, we probably do activate Buccaneer, slightly bigger blocker, and mill them 2 more. I mill myself 1 to mill them 2. Yep, Thunderhead Gunner's doing digging. 16 cards over there. Just the flyer put me to 3. This board state gets wide enough, we chump attack with Gear Hulk. I guess draw a card, discard a card is valuable enough to probably actually wait for me to just hit a land that I don't need, rather than just going mana efficiency and doing it right now. World Wagon's very, very big. Massive, massive, massive attacker on the ground, but the important part is that it is on the ground. Okay, I'm just going to draw for turn here. Save Buccaneer if I hit a land. Thopterist is so good. Thopterist is so, so good. That's 4 mana. I've got the mana for that even after activating Siphon. So I will activate Siphon. Wild Roads. I don't have the mana to use Buccaneer and Thopterist, so I think I just play Wild Roads to crack it for a creature later. If Thopterist resolves here, even after attacking with Gear Hulk, I will have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blockers. Am I insane? That's definitely not the right number. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blockers. I don't know what happened with my brain there. But that is 8 blockers against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. I'll be at 7 instead of 3. Less dead to the Thopterist kind of combat trick somehow. They've only got 11 cards left. That's huge. Okay, I'm going to see if Thopterist resolves, and if it resolves, I think I am going to attack with Gear Hulk here. That might be crazy. But then I'm not dead to Lightning Strike off the top. One of our few fears. Well, I have many fears. One of our main fears, I should say. Because it's a common. So they're pretty likely to have a copy in there. Discard a card, draw a card. They have 9 cards left. Play their own Buccaneer. They have 8 cards left. I can mill them 6 right now. If I draw a draw spell, they're dead, if I have the mana for it. This might justify cracking Buccaneer end step. Because do I have any more draw in the deck? If I do, it's worth it. If I have draw that I couldn't afford next turn, if I had the Buccaneer up, I could hit Trip Up. That's 2 mana, and that would kill them. Or Ranger's Refueler, which is 6 mana. No, Ranger's Refueler, I could play the Refueler before the Buccaneer, I guess. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I need 2 mana up for this. And then 2 mana for Buccaneer. Plus 6 for the Refueler, if that's the last thing I draw. But also I could just mill it here off Buccaneer if I go for this right now. If Refueler is one of my first 2 draws for the turn, if Refueler is in the top 2, I'm going to kill them with it. The only way that would be better to Buccaneer is if Refueler is the 3rd card. Right, because then I use Buccaneer, boop, then I use Siphon, then I still have 6 up for Refueler. But if Refueler is the top card, it's worse. So if Refueler is on the top of my deck, it's worse to Buccaneer now. If Refueler is the 3rd card of my deck, it's better to Buccaneer now. I feel like that just balances out to like just don't Buccaneer yet. Right? Because then I could also randomly mill Trip Up, and that would also be bad. So there's 2 cards that if they're on the top of my deck, it's bad to Buccaneer now, but only 1 card I could draw into that I wouldn't have the mana to draw with if I have to Buccaneer next turn. Because if I draw into the Trip Up, I'll have the mana to Siphon and Buccaneer and Trip Up next turn. Sorry if that was just like overly ridiculously thinking things, but that's the kind of position we're in right now. And while my opponent's sitting there thinking through their attacks, we might as well think through that kind of nonsense. Yeah, just make sure that we survive, and then we have like 3 different cards that could get the insta-kill. Only out of 19, so not insanely high odds. So I should be making the blocks that I can that play best if this game goes long. Definitely keep Buccaneers, so I'm gonna crew with it. Okay. 6/6 to the 6/6. Don't die to +4/+4. They don't have +4/+4. They only have 2 mana up. They cannot have the +4/+4 trample card. That is the only trample combat trick in the set, is it not? I guess I could kill the World Wagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then I have 6 blockers for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attackers. That's still fine. But I also have to chump Thunderhead Gunner then, and then I don't have as many. It's a little not perfect, but also just chumping with multiple things is not perfect because I also still won't have enough blockers to be in a really, really good spot. Okay. Vinwixit. Just a 0/4, thank God. Let's see. Aether Siphon triggers. 6 cards left for them. Activate the Aether Siphon to draw another card. That's not the one. That's not the one. We could still hit a Trip Up off of Buccaneer, and I have nothing else to do with this mana except crack Wild Roads, which I will still have the mana up for. So activate Buccaneer. We do not hit the Trip Up, so we have to live another turn here, but if we live 1 more turn, we win. Six blockers, block, 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 take like 3 or 4 damage on board. They're going to look at the last card in their library and see if it gets them there. Go for it, just in case we mess it up. Put the biggest blockers on the biggest attackers. It's 2 damage on board. We take 2 damage and our opponent concedes? Barely. Absolutely barely, just by the skin of our teeth. Sneaking through undefeated so far for 3-0. To start off this Arena Open run, that one was really looking like a loss early on there. But Achek just going so hard for the long game. Ether Siphon, absolute MVP as well. 3-0, heading into game 4. Here we are, on the play for game number 4. I don't want to make bad decisions. This hand wins so hard off a green source. I have 7. I can't do that, can I? I mean, if you count blue sources as good draws, because Ether Siphon, I have 13 good draws. And the Ether Siphon tries to hit the green off of that draws. This is the kind of hand in paper that you'd be like, okay, you say you're going to mulligan, then you look at the top and it's a green source and you're like, I should have mulliganed. Do the peek after you make your decision. I'm going to... 7 green sources. I'm doing it. I'm mulliganing. We have enough power in this deck to make up for being down a card. Hand ditch Buccaneer. I think this hand ditches Buccaneer weirdly. It is good. I can't ditch Bike, so I have to ditch Lagak or Buccaneer. Yeah, we're on the play. They should be slow enough. We probably don't need Lagak immediately. And Buccaneer makes it more likely to hit Achik off of the cycling, the exhaust, the draw plus discard. Green deck from opponent. Oh, that is so beautiful. Refueler to go with Buccaneer is such a draw. Rewarded for the mulligan decision. There is Stampeding Scurryfoot to get blocking. Play Villowheart Bike and have the 2-up to exhaust Buccaneer next turn. So let's set that up. Could send in a 3-3, but I'd rather just hold them off if they need to raise their speed or anything. Big yikes, very scary card. Excellent land to draw. Well, we take every trade we can get forever now, because it's time to start filling the grave for Achik. This thing's summoning 6, so I'm not going to be able to like rue it and activate Buccaneer and try to take the trade there. If I crew it, I don't get the mana out of it anymore. So I might as well just do this right now then. No, I can still threaten to have some kind of weird trip. But I guess I'm taking the Afterburn Expert hit, which is a little sad. Yeah, you got me. Down to 18. Howler's heavy, just a 3-4. Okay, so any block would have been horrible. Hello, Possession Engine. Possess the Expert. If they don't steal it back, I can exhaust it to draw another card later. And now I don't have to worry about it jamming in. It's also not in their graveyard either. Yep, this way I get to hold up the Bike as well. I already have double green, double black, double blue, so blocking with the Bike is fine. Looks great. The one awkward part about exhausting the Expert to draw the card is that if they blow up the Possession Engine later, now they've got the 6-4 Expert, but... Okay. I think I keep the Expert, because this is still on the board. Yes, I do. We take those. That is great value for me. It's got no abilities, but it's technically still on the board, so I technically still control Afterburner Expert. Don't ask me, I'm not a magic judge. It is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite at 8 mana to play the Expert and Exhaust Refueler. So I'm only doing one thing this turn. It feels better to play the Strategist. If I Exhaust Refueler, it's more likely to die because now it's a creature that they can shoot with run out and stuff. And this way I've got a really scary flying threat that we can start working on to present lethal. Well, not present lethal, but to put a lot of pressure on our opponent, start jamming in with this thing. What, 4 damage a turn? 5 damage a turn. I don't think I've ever actually gotten to exhaust this card. But yeah, that's a 4-turn clock in the sky, and we still draw the Refueler card. Okay, District Mascot is a little sad, because they can saddle it and attack to guarantee they blow up 1 artifact with it. And then they get to blow up the Refueler or the Possession Engine. But at least, because they didn't know how the Flood the Engine interaction worked, they will still be down a card. They spent 2 removal spells to get rid of Possession Engine, if that's what they choose to do. Okay, I actually can't exhaust Strategist and still have Interference up. So now that I drew that, I actually want to just exhaust Refueler. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep perfect mana up. And see what I draw here. That does not change anything. Okay. Well, this is only 4 mana to exhaust. For some reason, I keep thinking it's 6. No reach, no flyers. We send. They also don't have green mana up, so we know they don't have the +1/+2 combat trick that gives reach. That would be a card worth considering playing around if they had green up. Okay, they're going to go for the kill on one of our artifacts here. I think we block with the... I mean, it's going to be a 1/2, so I can block with, like, anything. Let's just really make sure it dies, so they have to spend the 2 and kill something here. They are going to kill Possession Engine. I can exhaust here to draw another card, but then they don't have to spend the mana to make that a 6/4. Don't know if that's quite worth it. Almost definitely not when I have a counterspell in hand, right? Because then if I spend the mana to exhaust that, I don't have Interference up anymore if they want to play anything else. And then because it's already exhausted, they can use all that mana to just cast something else while I'm tapped out. Okay, Spectral Interference, the Aether Siphon for sure. The Aether Siphon definitely can win this kind of game. A lot of long games in the sealed format and draft, but sealed is what matters right now. Okay, 4 swings and we kill them. That's the plan. Because I can play the Merfolk and use this. Gear Hulk's the draw. That's beautiful. Jam 5 in. They're down to 13. Merfolk can pass. Ranger's Refueler just doing so much this game. Make that a 6/4, and then it just comes back with Scurryfoot. Yeah, I'm just not going to block because it'll just come back, and we're winning the race regardless. So 3 damage it is. We're down to 15. There's their own Sabotage Strategist. They don't have the mana to exhaust it right now, though, so I still have the attack this turn, and there's the trip up. That's huge here. I can... Gearhole can still have trip up for 4. I like that. See what's in their hand. Bestow Greatness. So that would be the combat trick to block and kill our Strategist. I've got the trip up, so I'm just gonna let them keep that, I think. Over letting them maybe draw into like a bigger bomb. 4/4 is not a good attacker because it's a 3/4 because they're strategist right now. Okay, cool. Now they have to redraw strategist and not have the mana to exhaust it next turn. And they have no cards in hand. Don't have to worry about whatever was on top of their deck, because we're not going to see it till next turn now, instead of giving them that instead of bestow. What are my most efficient, powerful spells to draw? Run over for 2 mana. Run over, very relevant even at 1 mana here. 21 cards left. Yeah, blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a draw 7. Sure. Did not hit the run over, but again, drawing this many cards, we can just discard a land. That's fine. 15 life. These are 3/4s against a 6/4, so we only have strategists to attack with. They're down to 9. Exhaust Scurryfoot, yep. Fang Guardian's a sick one for next turn. And Thopterist is good too. I don't think this game's going to go long enough that Aether Siphon's that important. Ah, flood the engine off the top. Well, I'm glad I didn't give them it a turn sooner, I guess, with Gear Hulk, but that's still bad. That's really bad. They don't have the strategist exhausted yet, but once it is, it'll be horrible. Okay, I mean, that thing's a 6/4, right? The mana still could very much be relevant. I've drawn so many cards at this point, I don't think the extra refueler cards will be super relevant. So we'll do that there. Scurryfoot's not bad. Gearhulk's a pretty awesome attacker with Fang Guardian. Buccaneer not so much. Oh yeah, I guess they can just like multi-block here, but we still gain a bunch of life and fill the grave more for Achik. Cool. Okay, this way I actually get to kill a few things here. This is fine. I should probably double check the mana it's spending is good, but we'll be able to cast some good cards no matter what. Yep. Okay. Hazard and Scurryfoot, I guess. Yeah, 7/7 trample seems super real. The reach is relevant too, once it's up on blocks, but I think I'd rather be attacking with it, even with the strategist exhausted. So they're at 9. Alright, the thing comes untapped too. I do not like that. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Can exhaust Hazard and still have 4 mana up for like Nimblethopter's Tears. This is a 6/6 trampler on attacks. 6/7 trampler. They can block with Expert and Heavy. But then the only thing they have left is Strategist. Sky Serpent Seeker keeps Strategist off of us because it doesn't reduce our blockers at all. Okay, we are going to trade into those two. One more. Those are out of the way. They have to draw another exhaust card to bring Expert back. Here's Sky Serpent Seeker to block Strategist. Gibberic Omnivore is not an exhauster, so it's just one blocker. And they have no attacks to the Sky Serpent Seeker. Let's go. I cast Siphon pre-combat so that I'm working on my speed if I send anything in. But I'm not attacking through Strategist. So just slam some stuff down. Just try to get a wide enough board to just attack for lethal through its ability. Ew. I don't think I'm doing anything with a crude bike. Okay. Oh, it brings the Expert back too? Okay, that's actually irritating. That's really irritating. The 2 lands doesn't matter, but the fact that that brings their Expert back with my Sky Serpent, that's super frustrating. 4 blockers up thanks to that. Yeah, Possession Engine was a massive swing there. Okay, there's Siphon Fuel. They're just dead, right? I mean, they've got to be close. 3 blockers up. No, this can't crew the engine by itself, but Strategist can crew it here. I mean, this is still massive. We just do that right now before they draw anything else. Yeah, this is not lethal yet, but if they don't hit something super fire next turn, should be dead next turn, especially if I just run out the Achik. So if I were to attack all, block, block, block on the biggest 3 cards, which would be Bike, getting crewed by the 2/2, Guardian, and a 3/4, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not enough. Actually, if I crew things with Achik, it might be lethal. Because then I get to crew Mangler as well. So they block a 4/2 and 2 of my 3 power creatures. I crew everything with this card. So all of these are going to be attacking. And they block a 4, a 3, and a 3. So those 3 are blocked. They take 1, 2, 3. One of the 3s gets in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, they go to 2. Not quite dead. They go to 2, and the blocks are favorable. They're blocking a 4, a 3, and a 3. No, we would kill Omnivore and Afterburner Expert. Possession Engine would stay, though. But they would block in such a way we get to kill Omnivore and Expert. I don't think there's a way for them to block where they can block a 1/1 with the 2 toughness cards. I really don't think they can do that. And survive. Alright, it looks like they probably left or closed arena or something, which is fair because this is basically lethal. Oh, they're back. Oh, it tapped Bike. Oh, that's probably my fault for how I tapped earlier, maybe. Okay, so because Bike is tapped, they block Mangler, Guardian, Buccaneer. Oh wait, no, I think I did do the math to where Bike would be tapped, right? Guardian, Buccaneer, Mangler, as the blocks take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I still have a bunch untapped on the ground to not die on the crackback. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Block, block, block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kill the 2 toughness cards. They might be able to afford to do this and kill just one of their 2 toughness cards. But like barely. Okay, that looks like a no. Take all the trades. Yeah. They are at 2. Land off the top. 5? 5-0? Or is that 4-0? We've had some really long games in here, so that does certainly drag it out and make it feel longer than it has been. 4-0 is all that we're at, so it's still possible to not get any gems back, but we've had some great success so far, and we'll see if we can't keep that train rolling. 4-0 undefeated, heading into round number 5. Here we are on the play for game 5. Have to draw some lands here, but this hand has a lot of legs to it off of those draws, and technically 4 castable spells off of just these 2 lands, but these spells all get significantly better off of more mana later. At least all of them except Interference. Technically that only needs the 2, but still. The tap land is awkward here. Like, it'll be untapped once I have Refueler on board, but Refueler is my 2-drop, right? So I'd go Island, tap land, Refueler. That wouldn't do the thing. So I think I just play Wild Roads turn 1. So I have the option of Scurryfoot or Refueler turn 2. I could Merfolk turn 1, and if I hit an untapped land, I could Refueler turn 2, and I also have Wild Roads untapped, but I think that's too risky. We'll just get the tap land out of the way immediately. We don't need Scurryfoot out on 1. Oh, I hit the untapped land, so I could have had Refueler down before I play Wild Roads and just played an untapped land each turn. Sadness on the stack. I actually don't mind leading with Refueler. And then I get to play just a 1-drop and hold up Interference next turn. Because, like, I'm not going to be super excited about this till I can exhaust it for a bunch anyway. Okay, that's a little annoying. Refueler costs 6 to activate now, but I still draw cards off of it. But yeah, like, now I can drop a Scurryfoot, still have Interference up, and then easily just exhaust Scurryfoot turn 4 for value for the Refueler draw. Cool. I'll Interference anything they do, because I'm just not going to want to spend the mana on that on a future turn when I have great things to exhaust and draw cards off of. So I'm just going to do this right now so I can also beat down with the Refueler. Oh, does the crew ability also cost mana? Ah, the crew ability costs mana too. That's a little tragic. But I still hit for 2 instead of 1 on this attack, so that's fine. Transit Mage could be very bad for me. They could have Possession Engine in their deck. That'd be horrible, but if they have the blue shell, that's also bad. The 5 mana 4/4 that bounces a card. Because then they get to kill my elephant and get a 4/4 on the board. So yeah, even blue shell is very strong. Blue shell it is. Spike Shell Harrier. 5 mana 4/4 blow up my elephant. It's pretty good. Okay. So, I mean, Possession Engine to steal the 4/4 in the future is pretty fine. I can play a Strategist or play a Merfolk setting up for the exhaust. I don't think I'm exhausting the Merfolk soon because I'm probably playing Possession Engine next turn. This is crew 2, right? So they have a 3/3 blocker up. I can't attack with Scurryfoot. So we send in a 3/3 and drop a Strategist. And they're not going to want to trade Chariot into the 3/3 because they can just Harrier the 3/3. Cool. Harrier the elephant. Bounce strategist. That is surprising. And that makes me very happy. Okay, Ether Hive. To go with our exhaust abilities is pretty sweet. Possess that Harrier. Get the elephant in. They might as well crew chariot, so I can't crew engine. Sure. We trade the 3/3 off, so Refueler is back to being crewable and cheaper to exhaust. Looks like they do maybe have removal for Possession Engine. Oh my god, okay. Double Harrier is filthy. That's very nice. Bounce their own Harrier. Super, super fair. And then they play that one and bounce a card. That's so gross. That's really good against Possession Engine on Harrier. I have no black source, so Siphon Fuel actually is pretty actively bad right now. I gotta do some drawing, do some digging here, I think. So activate Refueler, and then drop Mindspring Merfolk, I suppose. I guess the next Harrier doesn't have any really good targets. Because if they bounce Possession Engine, I'm happy to recast. If they bounce Scurryfoot, I get another Elephant over time. If they bounce Merfolk, whatever, it costs 1. Yeah, at least the next Harrier does not have good targets. I think I don't attack with this Refueler. I could attack with the engine, but I'm happy to hold it on blocks here. I've got mountains of card draw to win the long game if I just make sure I'm not taking damage here and I'm prolonging this game. Okay, let's see what they bounce here. I'm pretty happy with anything. Bounce the Refueler. That'll give me another draw over time. Not right now, but eventually. Cool with me. And then a 0/8. Well, probably not getting damage in for quite some time then. All right, another green source. They're not in a super good spot to attack either, so I don't mind setting up for the excellent long game with the Ether Hive here. Get maximum value off of every exhaust that we do, because I have so many exhausts going on right now. Gear Seeker Serpent, now we are under pressure. Although if we get the Strategist back down, it only hits us for 4 a turn, but still unblockable. Yeah, I just need to find a black source, though, and we're good on that. So, Refueler first for sure, and then I think we have to crack Buccaneer. That digs us 2 cards closer to black mana. Yeah, draw 2, discard 1, get a flyer. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, World Wagon gets the black source. Comes in tap, but it still gets the black source. Beautiful. Yeah, and now we've got a massive crackback with 9/4. That pulls out the second black source for the Gear Hulk. All right, get their Gear Seeker Serpent attack in while they can, they say. Put us to 15. All right, World Wagon's just going to trade with a Harrier, but ooh. Now I can run over the Gear Seeker Serpent for 1 mana instead of siphoning it. Sure, this is a crew 4. 4 is a lot, but I guess I could activate Refueler. I want to have Siphon Fuel up in case they counter Runover by blowing up World Wagon. So I still want to have 5 mana after the 1. So I want 6 mana up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 2 mana to spend on whatever I want, which is not enough to do anything. So I guess I don't do anything until I go for the World Wagon run over. Cool. Great work from World Wagon. I'll take it. Okay, now I know I can just exhaust this. And I'm all good. Flyer, card, 4/4. 4 mana up, strategist. Jesus. All right, there we go. That is 5-0 remaining undefeated, getting at least 1,000 of our gems back now. We head into game number 6. Game number 6, Lagak on 2, Hazard on 4. It's pretty good by itself, and we got an Aether Hive in the middle. Keep. It's mount or vehicle that enters untapped. Cool, so I have no tap lands in this hand. I guess it doesn't matter because I can still just play it turn 1. I have no 1-drops. Okay. Actually, if I played Verge first, I could have black mana up on turn 3 if I draw some really good 3 mana black spell. I don't think I'm running any though. Yeah, 3 mana. Yeah, no, all my black spells are really late game. Market Back Walker. That is a very good card because I don't want to trade a 2/1 into it, obviously. But I've got the 3/5 blocker. And they get to sink more mana into it over time and draw more cards off of it when it dies. Very solid stuff. There's the bike. They're on all forests here. They do plow through the Aether Hive. That's annoying. One blue source away from that. That's cool. Because I've got double black off of Verge and Swamp. Alright. Find a blue source and go to town. Ooh. I was gonna say down to 19 and they took it back. Alright. Gearhole. If they go blue for a counterspell off the bike, I'd be so sad because I was gonna say, how can we play around that? Triple green and 1 bike. We have no way to know. Oh. We decline those, right? No, they have 1 white source off the bike. So they can Ride's End. I don't like that we're giving them more opportunities to hit another white source, but could like Ride's End a tapped Gearhulk already, or a tapped Hazard. I think we clear out their removal. That's a strong hand, though. Make a lifelinking bike. Well, there's no way they can use that on bike. And they're definitely gonna hit the mana no matter what, because they can also like activate 1 on marker and have that as a 2/2 blocker up. Let's get rid of Ride's End. I do not think they can afford to trade bike into Hazard. I think their life total is a lot more relevant than ours, so I'm going to slam both in here. Like, even if the card they got off of the draw, making them discard Ride's End, is a Plains, I think even then they can't, like, trade bike. Oh, it's crew 2. I'm dumb. Disregard it all. Okay, so they are going to just trade Walker into drawing 2 cards to dig for white sources, which makes a lot of sense. Pothole Mole to dig even farther. They still didn't find it. There we go. Plains, run over as to be expected at that point. Once they've drawn an extra 2 plus used a Pothole Mole. So yeah, I think hitting the Ride's End worked pretty well for us. Because with the draw 2 plus a Pothole Mole getting found, they were really likely to get there. Venom Sac Lagak now costs mana. Well, I prefer that to Hazard the Dunes. I'm only 1 land away from Hazard. So we definitely don't sack Wild Roads then. Yeah, attack all, and the trades are fine on board. They can crew this, but the only thing they can trade with is Lagak. Cool. Go team, go. They're down to 8, and I have a 7/7 trample next turn. Low discard Disciple, crew bike, gain 4? They need Ride's End in hand for this to make any sense to me. So that they can Ride's End the Hazard in response to me exhausting it. Oh no, they do go to 11. Oh, they have a second Skyseer's Chariot, and then that one gets used on Hazard. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, honestly. Yeah, then I definitely can't use Hazard. Till 2 more turns? They have no blockers up, though, and we're at 21, so I kind of want to hold on to Possession Engine to use on Sunmare or whatever they put the roadside assistance on, instead of just using it on Disciple. But having another 5/5 attacker is kind of a huge deal, too. I don't know, I think they're going to try to stabilize with just like a big 5/5 body that can block these and not die, so I'm just going to make sure that doesn't happen, I think. If I go land next turn, land the turn after that, then I can finally activate Hazard. I think that's long enough to just give me the pilot to crew Possession Engine. Or anything else. Also just attack as a 1/1. Our best hope is that they end up just slamming down Sunmare. Anything like that is so good for us. Roadside assistance, a Chariot. Stem the bleeding with some life gain and a chump blocker. It's not the kind of play I wanted to see. That means they probably have another 3-drop that's relevant, which helps a ton. Yeah, okay. I'm so glad our Gear Hulk has lifelink, by the way. Because otherwise they'd actually be like starting to win the race with all these Disciples and assistances and everything. Crew the temporarily lifelinking Chariot and save the other one to trade into a 4/4, I think. That is the play. The really frustrating play because I can't Possession Engine it, and I'm flooding. I just double block one of these, block the other with the 4/4. That's so gross. It's the one on Venom Sac Lagak too. This doesn't even matter if I do trade for it. It's not like I get to activate Hazard. There's the Sunmare. Now we got a good Possession Engine target. Greenbelt Guardian. Hold the phone. Trample is quite big here. Probably not big enough. They're gaining 4 right now. Yeah, no, I just Possession Engine Sunmare instead of Guardian for sure. Well, the comical levels of lifelink from our opponent have kept us off the kill here. We still have that shot of going for the long game. I'm only one land away from the 7/7 hazard now, which stops all their attacks. All gas, no brakes. Disciple 3. What the heck? Now they're tapped out for making it any bigger, so I can just put the 4/4 in front of that. And they just gain 3 but don't get any extra damage in. Okay, that's actually kind of fine. And they gain 1,000,000 though. So I mean, they're so stable. But that's it for their life gain. I mean, outside the 4/4. That's doing it every turn, but again, I'm just 1 mana from stopping that one anyway. Okay, life totals are even. We just fully have a game on our hands. That is the Hazard of the Dunes mana. So we hold it up and pass. Exhaust Greenbelt Guardian. And they just got their blind draw for turn. It's a Scry 2 card, that's not good. Helps them find relevant plays for next turn. They Scry 2 to the bottom. So they're 2 cards closer to something good. Okay, they pass, and we exhaust. So I can actually cast spells next turn. If I had any. Well, I mean, I have my 1 Thopterist, but another land is not what I'm looking for. I attack with Hazard, I trade into a 5/5 and a 3/2 vehicle. It's really not a good deal. So I just don't have any attacks. And we gotta find one of our spooky cards. It's a good thing we have a lot of them. Got a Chick, Debris Beetle, Siphon Fill would be really good here. Scurryfoot's not bad. But it doesn't really get any damage in. Another one of these mother of all board stalls over here. Ether Siphon's theoretically pretty cool, but there's no way we hit max speed soon. But drawing 2 cards a turn would get us probably to hitting enough action to getting a better board than our opponent soon enough. Cloudspire Captain's kind of scary here with the 3 vehicles out. I mean, Hazard is still more than big enough, but if they find removal for Hazard, that is a really important card. Oh, Buccaneer's a good one. We like that. Draw a card, discard a card. Midnight Mangler. I don't like that as much, but it's better than land. When it attacks while saddled. Okay, so Sunmare doesn't do anything. This is a pass again. They do mill out before us already. We have 20 cards, they have 14. So that's also nice. Alright, like if they're out of removal. That is definitely not out of removal. They get the +4/+4 trample trick here. That's actually astronomically bad. Yikes, oh my god, yeah, 9/9 lifelink flying trample. If I just let it in, I go to 1 against the +4/+4 trample. If I block Chariot, I just lose things without even anything. The only block I have against +4/+4 trample is to double block here. And it's still bad because I lose the hazard. Yeah. No, that sucks. I can get the hard read and know exactly what the card is, and it's still just like, yeah, but that, I mean, that kind of ends me here. Because now I have no flying blockers, I just die next turn. Too flooded. You got me. Pretend to have a trick. But if they just swing all, that's it. All right. Super well played from our opponent, but still pretty depressing on our side of the table. I really don't think there was a ton to do there. Like, I'm trying to think on pivotal points of the games, and it's like the card we chose to make them discard and stuff like that. It's like Ride's End by far was the best card to make them ditch. Yeah, I don't know. Triple Lotus Guard Disciple was egregious. It is what it is. 5-1 heading into game number 7. Snap keep. Quick game of revenge here. Easy win. Let's not get too bold. But this hand looks exceptional. Bobble Merfolk is fine. I still got tons of value here. Ooh, Verge is insane in this hand. Still feeling pretty confident. Demir from our opponent. Turn 2 Guidelight Optimizer is fine. Didn't draw into a 3-drop, but the hand is still good. Flood the Engine, the Refueler, poke for 2. It's an option. That would actually be pretty bad for me because Fang Guardian sucks as the only creature. I think that's the only removal spell blue-black could have. No, they have Spin Out. Spin Out can destroy vehicles in this format. Quag Feast. Okay, I mean, that works too. Rough. I mean, I guess technically I want mana for Achik, but I'm getting scared. It's going to end just like last game. We've drawn literally nothing but lands so far. Wreck Remover. Fang Guardian doesn't even attack well against that. That also shuts off Achik? Why is this my life? I mean, we 5-0'd. We got really good luck for the first 5, so I guess things just working as poorly as possible these last 2 games. It's just the luck catching back up to us. Hazard holds all their attacks off if they don't have another removal spell here. Bounce to our hand, draw a card. That's really good. Wreck Remover is so tilting because it's such a filler card, but it's like actively destroying me right now because this is just going to be useless. There's going to be 0 cards in my grave now. They even have another Bauble for the 4-2. They have their own Refueler to go up in value. Yeah, I mean, a good hand from our opponent, but a particularly egregious hand in the fact of just how well it specifically plays against my hand. Alright, we're entering the salt mines right now. If I 5-0 into 5-3, I am not doing another run. I mean, I already was probably going to stop after this run if we didn't make it through, because there is a Duskmourn Arena Direct that's actually draft next weekend, which is awesome. I would infinitely rather play competitive draft than competitive seal, so I gotta save the gems for that. But yeah, I mean, I think I would tilt off the face of the earth with a 5-0 and a 5-3 here. So we'll see. Still are in this game a little bit, but again, things have just lined up so awkwardly yet again, similarly to last game. Yeah, Refueler gets to attack in so freely here. We're down to 9 already. They just need like one spin out on Hazard the Dunes, and things are so bad for me. But H-Chick just doesn't even do anything. I get a 3-3 and a 1-1. It trades into Refueler and nothing else. If I don't play H-Chick here, they just kill me if they spin out. But like if they spin out, do I have any chance of winning regardless? I H-Chick, they spin out Hazard, I have a 3-3 and a 1-1 to double block and kill the 4-4 or the 3-4. Take 5 or 6 damage, be at like 4 life with 1 trip up and just hoping to top deck. It's still like the only play I have, because like even if they don't have the spin out, if I just exhaust Hazard, they can attack all and hit me for 5. But if it just weren't for the Wreck Remover, like 3-1-1s is so much better. It just feels so rough to get like demolished by the 22nd, 23rd playable. That's like, yeah, I'm light on creatures, I'll run the Wreck Remover. Oh, it actually super wins this game, let's go! Ah, it's frustrating. Yeah, them having to surveil off of the bauble towards the spin out here also. Just really don't think there's a world where I get to just pass and exhaust. To keep both on top, sure. Flood the engine and scrap compactor. I'm left with 1-1-1. Just couldn't do anything. Just couldn't do anything that game. Yeah, that's painful. 2 games in a row like that. We had a really good opening hand there too. They just had the perfect counteraction to that hand. Just bauble for our 1-drop and our 4-drop 4-2. And then all the removal they needed for everything else. Wreck Remover against the H-Chick was egregious. Yeah, we just actively couldn't do anything that game. No matter how we play that one out, we handedly lose. Yeah, things just lined up really well for them. I don't even think their hand was like insane. It was a very good hand from them as well, for sure. But it's just that it plays specifically really well against the hand that we had. It is what it is. Here we are for game number 8. We are 5-2 right now, dangling on the precipice of defeat. We lose 1 more game and we're out of the Arena Open. We win just 2 more and we are on to victory, so could go either way here. Our opponent starts with a 1-mana Start Your Engines card, which is obviously quite bad. That is the most aggressive play you can possibly make in this format. And this hand is a little bit slow. We just have the Lagak early. There's no... There's no world in which we mulligan this hand because the mana is great and we have 1 great cheap play. Okay. Our opponent goes 1 mana 2/1 rare into the same 1 mana 2/1 rare into Grimbauble for the blocker. Even though I had the early blocker for these things, it doesn't matter. They had the cheap removal too. Get that second black source. If we can make it to Achik to stabilize, that will stabilize, and the Thopterus helps a lot, potentially trading into both Gas Guzzlers. They are at full maximum speed, though. Super early, but they're missing lands now. They did not have double counterspell. That's huge. That could just be game. And just 3/3/2/1/1s. Yeah, they have to start sacking Guzzlers looking for mana. Still not finding it. Now we can play enough blockers to get World Dragon in there. Still have a run over up to be really safe. There's the nice from opponent. You don't know what I've been through. Play the Merfolk. Crew 2. To Crew 4. Send, get the land. Have a run over up. Get the second blue for the Merfolk. Ka-ching your face. Six and 2 heading into the final battle. And here we are for the final battle of the Arena Open. Win or lose, this will be my final game I play in the Aetherdrift Arena Open. Oh man, this hand is so good off a green source. Pretty good off of any land because we get to play Buccaneer, and the Buccaneer gets to draw and discard. We play the Refueler no matter what. We are on the draw. I believe this is a keep, right? If we hit any land, we play Refueler into Buccaneer. Buccaneer then exhausts to draw me 2 cards and discard 1 towards the next land, which can then exhaust the Refueler the turn after that to draw me 1 more card. It's a lot of extra cards to dig for just a single green source. I'm going to keep the hand. Okay, and we could also just immediately hit the green. That's pretty good too. Playing against a red deck here. Don't love being on the draw against red, one of the most aggressive colors. Okay, here's Refueler. Luckily, I'll have some chunky blocks, right? Next turn, I've got a 2/3 or a 3/3 up on blocks. And with such powerful cards like World Dragon, I can just play towards the board and making sure I survive, which I really need to do when they drop a 4/1 this turn. So I definitely can't afford to play World Wagon. Jesus Christ. They have 7 power on the board on turn 3 and a a treasure token, so that they have 5 mana on turn 4 to slam something big down. This is rough. Might have to exhaust, or not exhaust, I might have to crew Refueler and trade Refueler into Tyrox here to keep Buccaneer to block other stuff later. I hate giving up on this card draw, but yeah. I'm under so much pressure right now. I gotta throw this here and keep a Buccaneer around. Can block without getting crewed or exhausted. Fang Druid Summoner picks up the Tyrox right back from the grave. Don't have the mana for it this turn, even off the 5. Gotta play to the board. Come on down, Hazard. Play the Tyrox. Cycle Fuel the Flames because our stuff is chunky. Play a Forest. And they pass. We play a Swamp and pass, holding up Fang Guardian. So I have blocks for Tie Rocks. I do have Buccaneer's ability. Mainly just wanted to highlight that so they might think I'm just holding up exhaust abilities and not an actual instant. I don't know why I decided to try to act for the people watching this video. It's not like my opponent is watching right now. This isn't live streamed or anything. I'd rather lose Buccaneer to a combat trick than Hazard, obviously. And so since either of them's big enough to eat Tie Rocks without dying off of the buff, we do that to Buccaneer. That's so huge that we got that to just pop off. There's Ketradon. I can trade a World Wagon into that and get another land here. Yep. I think I'm activating Buccaneer over playing Aether Siphon, because I'm not speeding up right now anyway. I should have played the Swamp. That was a misplay. Okay, then I'm playing Aether Siphon, because I'm not discarding the Swamp. I do have double black rares that I can hit. And I need to have World Wagon to trade into Ketradon on blocks. Thunderhead Gunner is not great, because now they get to draw straight gas, discard any lands for the next card in their deck. Alright, pass through, no attacks with Ketradon. Oh, Aether Hive. Oh. Actually genius to not exhaust Buccaneer last turn. Siphon to have the extra card to discard to Buccaneer so I can still have the Swamp. Okay, play the Swamp, discard the Wild Roads. I don't mind getting another land out of the deck, but then my blocks are significantly worse not having World Wagon up, so I'm just going to pass. Lightning Strike Fang Guardian, that's fair. I've got no 1-drops that would change that. Activate Thunderhead Gunner. Saddle the Mascot so that they can blow up World Wagon with it. Yeah, God. I forgot they can just do that. And then Ketradon gets to start getting in. That's pretty infuriating. Make sure this triggers before they can actually blow up the artifact, just in case they want to blow up the Aether Hive instead. They're not on black here. I don't need to worry about the Death Touch trick. Yeah, blow up the World Wagon. Yep. Still got Hazard to block with. Still drawing an extra card every turn. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big. Exhausts as well. Guess I actually don't have Hazard to block with this turn, because I'm playing the Merfolk. Prowcatcher's Specialist. Exhaust it. And pass. cheapest relevant cards. Run over for 1 mana. That's more like 2. Venomous Aquagax, Sky Serpent. So yeah, 2 mana. We'll leave 2 mana up off the Merfolk. It needs to be a green and a blue. Blue, blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw 6. Should be, hopefully, a game-winning amount of draw. There's the run over. And the Sky Serpent Seeker. So huge. Oh, I could have gone for 1 more. Because I have the bike as well. The Sky Serpent, I do still have run over for 1 if that lines up well for me. Oh, they have 3 different reach blockers. It's not wonderful. Seems good. Lightning Strike on the Seeker immediately off the top. I mean, off the gunner, but still. Hello there, Achik. Okay, okay. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. Got the mana to exhaust one of these things. They're still hanging out exhausting, I think. Beast Rider Vanguard gives them another card draw engine. One Thopter, 7/7 Trample from the Aether Hive. Trip Up. Trip Up and Run Over on the attack here, I think is more than big enough to actually get a swing and try to get to the Aether Siphon mill plan. Or just try to get to a better board than our opponent. Okay, I'll go for Trip Up. Fine with them redrawing Specialist. +4/+4 Trample the Ketrodon. Okay, I can run over the Ketrodon then. Cool, Trample 7. Oh, Debris Beetle gets my speed up even if they do block on a future turn. So I guess I'm just gonna strategist now and save Debris Beetle for main phase 2 in a turn where we didn't get our speed up. Draconautics Engineer is usually horrible for us, but pretty fine on this board. Five Flying Vigilance, 1/1 Flyer, go to our turn, Possession Engine, the Gunner. Stop them from doing that. Their blocks are getting pretty miserable. And I can use that to mill them faster if I want. They can double block the 5/5 Flyer if they want to. Sure. Speed 3. I mean, just set up for the attack all lethal next turn, honestly. Land off the top. Play a million bombs, win a million games. Simple, simple stuff there. When things line up fine. But there were those 2 games in a row. It was getting so sketchy, where everything lined up so poorly. Yeah, just the super aggressive start from that blue-black player. Had the perfect baubles for the 4-2 and the 1-1. And really the wreck remover is what solidified the deal, making the H-Chick just not able to stabilize us in that game. And then, yeah, just 3 Lotus Guard Disciples for lifelink in a row from the green-white player. A lot of just utter destruction from our opponents those 2 games, but we still, just due to the sheer insane power of this sealed pool, managed to get the 7-win run and make it to the Arena Open Day 2 off of an incredible sealed pool here on our 3rd attempt. And I'm so happy I went for the 3rd attempt because it's the one that sealed the deal for us. We spent basically 0 gems on it. No matter what, we got all of our gems back. So it's strictly better than not having played a 3rd attempt. I will absolutely take it, and I guess I will be seeing you all for the Arena Open at Day 2 tomorrow, which is the much more exciting day for me. That is when we get to actually draft the format. So we'll be doing a best of 3 draft of Aetherdrift to see how far we can take it. If we win at least 3 of the 4 rounds, we make it to Day 2 draft 2. But no matter what, we got really good return on investment on that 3rd attempt of the Arena Open. Technically, we will be down on gems unless we make it to Day 2 draft 2, because we did have to do 3 runs here. But our 2nd run got us a little bit of our gems back. No, our 1st run got us a little bit of our gems back. 2nd run was 1-3 here. Yeah, I don't know. Not much to say. I was getting real tilted. I hate the undefeated into multiple losses in a row. It's the worst feeling in the universe, but still managed to just draw really well the last couple games and turn it back around. We take those. We're in Day 2. We might get some cash prizes if we can draft really well, play really well, and get really lucky. We'll see how everything lines up then. But as for me, for now, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.